From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
Ants Meats and Grocery is much more than a grocery store. We carry a full line of quality meats, local and organic vegetables, and a large variety of fish, Green Mountain Smart Control pellet grills, and a full deli case of sandwiches and side dishes.
Well, if you're new to Weather NorCal, number one, first and foremost, welcome to Weather NorCal. As you know, I got a free Weather NorCal app. Just go to your iPhone or your Android. In your app store, just search for Weather NorCal and download the app for free. Search around it. I think you're really going to like it because it has everything you need that Weather NorCal offers. And on top of that, it's local, 100% local. And a really cool thing, it travels with you. So if you travel outside of the area, it'll even give you the forecast for the area where you are. All right, we've got the gusty winds at times. We saw that yesterday. We saw gusts over 30 miles per hour in many cases here. The winds are going to die down a bit, but they're going to be kind of like the temperatures going up and down. The winds are going to be going up and down over the next few days as well, really for the rest of the week. Highs will be slightly above normal, getting warmer for your Memorial Day and possible showers for the Sierra. But, most of those showers are going to stay to our south. We're not really going to see much, if any of that. Taking a look at your neighborhood forecast at a glance for today, it's warmer today. And this is kind of that roller coaster ride I was talking about, even with those temperatures. We were in the low to mid 80s yesterday in the valley, upper 80s, maybe even some of us touching 90 for today. But I do expect even for the higher elevations to see some of those warmer temperatures today as well. So let's talk about the winds. That was, of course, the big factor for yesterday. Of course, that not big, but the fire in Glenn County where we did have that evacuation warning for a short period of time. The winds today, not as strong as they were yesterday. So that's good, right? Then we go into your Wednesday. You can see as we go into Wednesday morning, nothing really alarming. But the wind's picking back up. They may even be a little bit stronger for your Wednesday afternoon. And then we go into Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Look at Thursday morning even. Those gusts over 30 miles per hour in some cases here. So that's what I was talking about. The winds kind of dying down here for today, but then they kind of get back up as we go into Wednesday and particularly even for your Thursday. So what does this mean for our fire weather risk? Well, there are several factors that we have to look into, and we're talking about that. It's how dry is it? How hot is it outside? And what are the winds doing? So the winds are just one factor, all right? So when the temperatures aren't as hot and when the humidity isn't as low, then of course the fire weather risk is not going to be quite as high. But you see kind of in there those yellows, that's in that moderate range. I mean, we don't want to get up here. I mean, that's where we really have to start getting concerned. Even when we're down this low, we've still got to take the necessary precautions. But the good news is it is easier for the firefighters in conditions like these to get a better handle on the fires. But that doesn't mean they can't get out of control. That doesn't mean there isn't danger out there. It just means that conditions are better than if they were, say, in that higher range here. All right, so those are things to kind of take into account. So don't look at this and go, oh, we can rest easy. That's not the case, as we've discovered here so far this season. Yes, we've had nothing major, but we certainly have had some fires that have created some concern. Now, the reason we're seeing these off and on gusty winds, you see what's happening? You see how we have one storm after another? They're just kind of coming from the northwest, moving down to the south and east. It's doing a couple of things. Number one, it's giving us those off and on gusty winds. Number two, it's keeping the heat down to our south and southwest. So as a result, our temperatures, even though they're still above normal for this time of the year, which is the low 80s in the valley, for example, we're still going to be slightly above that here for the rest of the week, and not to mention this weekend. Now, as this system moves out here, this one's not going to move and follow the path of every other storm. It's going to dig to the south. Heat is going to build to the north. Now, yesterday, this was actually right on top of us by around Memorial Day, okay? But it's actually building more to the east, so we'll see more of that southwesterly flow of winds. So with that all being said, yes, it's warming up for your Memorial Day for the day after, and the warmer air kind of building in. This, though, is expected to eventually kind of ride up to the north. It won't move through us, but what it will do is suppress that heat again. So it's that roller coaster ride where we see temperatures go up and down and up and down, and that trend's going to stick around for a while. We keep this kind of the near normal category when we are talking about those temperatures over Northern California. So again, you can see this storm system right here. You see how it's riding to the south. That's the cooler air, and not to mention the winds that we're going to see over the next few days. Now, when we're talking about cloud cover, because we're not talking about rain here, it's mainly just the cloud cover, and we're seeing some of that marine layer make its way back for parts of the coast here for this afternoon. A couple of afternoon puffy cumulus clouds developing this afternoon for some of the higher elevations. And look at Wednesday morning. We're actually going to see a batch of clouds come in for the northern mountains and even parts of the eastern mountains, and not to mention along the coast. That's Wednesday morning, tomorrow morning, right? Then we go to Wednesday afternoon. Once again, we're seeing some of those afternoon clouds, but yeah, the valley is still looking at plenty of sunshine here. And then going into your Thursday morning, looks like, again, some of that fog kind of hovering around the coast here. That's pretty common for this time of the year. All right, taking a look at Futurecast. Yeah, I mean, we got a couple of these systems trying to pass through and some clouds, but I mean, we're not seeing any green here on the map here, indicating no rain in the forecast, at least for the next 7 days, if not longer. In fact, the Climate Prediction Center has most of Northern California within that drier than normal category. All right, let's talk about our wave heights. And you can see here for today, they're actually starting to drop, especially as we go into your Wednesday. So the wave heights are dropping over the next 24 hours or so. All right, so here's your winds from the north at about 15 to 25 knots. There still is, though, a small crash advisory here through this afternoon and even into the evening hours. All right, so here is your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Oh yes, there it is. Temperatures, yeah, mainly upper 70s here. Mad River about 69, 77 degrees for Ruth. We take you out to the north coast. This is for central and southern Humboldt County. Now look at the coast. I'm talking about the roller coaster ride. The coast is the exception, right? Pretty flatlined here. Upper 50s for the most part over the next 7 days. But where we do see that up and down in the temperatures is the inland areas. That's pretty much to be expected. We start getting more of that temperature spread as we get closer and closer to summer between the coast and inland areas. But they're going to see mainly in the low 60s, even for the immediate coast for today. Here's your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast, mainly in the 70s, although, yeah, once again to the north and east, we are seeing those cooler temperatures as we get in some of those higher elevations like that of Modoc County. Quite possibly reaching 70 degrees for some of the warmer spots today, but you get the idea, mainly in the upper 60s. Your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast, this is where we have a lot of microclimates, right? Because you go down into Paradise, lower elevation 79, Shingletown 77, but then you go up a bit higher in elevation, not too far from Shingletown and Viola, from 77 in Shingletown at 3,500 feet, to Viola at about 68 degrees. And there you can see Janesville 71 and 73 degrees for Susanville. All right, let's take a look at your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by NorCal Tractor. We've got those upper 80s in the forecast here for today, so a bit warmer than it was yesterday. Now, I'm being conservative with these temperatures. There are some forecast models, kind of pushing that 90-degree mark. So if some of us do see 90 today, it's not out of the question. But overall, you can see temperatures mainly in the upper 80s. Now, looking at that 7-day outlook for Redding, temperatures are going to drop after today. We'll kind of level out in the mid-80s for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Look at that on Saturday. A nice drop in those temperatures to start off the weekend. But by Sunday, mid-80s. By your Memorial Day, a high of 88 degrees.